America is being judged. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you try to pretend everything is okay. Everything is not okay. And America is being judged. I don't know about where you live, but where I live, everything is sky high. Everything. They just had a major global event meeting. All the world leaders were there, except America. We didn't even have a seat at the table. We weren't even invited. And no one's talking about it. I am old enough to remember what that means. America is under the judgment of God. People don't want to think about it. People want to say, oh, you're just fear-mongering and, everything is fine. We are prospering. Anybody who thinks this is a prosperous time for America, you simply are not paying attention. I don't care what they say. Things are bad. There's no jobs. There are many people out of work. There is no jobs. They are taking the stance, no hire, no fire. Jobs are drying up. Everything you buy in the store is sky high, and people are walking around. Some people, everything's fine. Everything's under control. No, everything is not under control, and everything is not fine. Everything is not fine. Here in America, we are being judged. Everything is not fine, no matter what they tell you. You need to wake up. If you think everything is fine, it's not. We need to be on our knees praying like never before. Like never before.
First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Quadash, and double honors to those great millstone while I learned his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is, her judgment reaches into the sky. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's quick lesson, I did a quick Google search and I just put in, is America under the judgment of the Lord? So this little feedback that I got, it says here, whether America is currently under the judgment of the Lord is a matter of interpretation within religious belief. Some Christian viewpoints suggest that sociology, I hope I'm saying that right, issues like declining morals, increasing crimes, and political division could be signs of the almighty judgment, referencing biblical principles about nations reaping what they sow. So right here, we know that eventually that America is going to reap what they have sown. So we already knowing that this is the most wicked and most sinful kingdom that ever was erected, and the Lord's getting ready to destroy this place. Babylon the Great, the whore that sits on many waters, mystery Babylon, the mother of all harlots. The Lord is getting ready to bring forth that recompense and judgment because of what? The oppression, because of all the affliction, the blood of the saints. A lot of things are getting ready to come down the pipeline because thou hast spoiled many nations. And now this place is getting ready to be spoiled. So we're seeing right now that that this place is on the decline. We're seeing the declines of moral, all sorts of sexual immorality, covetous. A lot of people are lovers of themselves, despisers of the words of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We're seeing it left and right. We're seeing that the love of many is constantly waxing cold and cold. We're seeing what violence is on a very, violence after violence and more violence. We're seeing one illing behind another illing. So one thing behind another. So we're seeing that violence has risen, to a degree whereby, it's no remedy that the Lord is going to have to come and destroy this place. So we knowing that the Lord is getting ready to come to destroy this place. So we seeing right now, the Lord is, what I'm saying, is getting ready to bring forth this judgment like we have never seen before. Shalak got a little dry tongue. So now, we seen it in the video, how the lady was talking and said that, a lot of people, you can't see that, that just the judgment of the Lord, she's telling you about, decline of there's no job, it's getting very bad. So she's seeing that dark outlook. So we already know that a lot of companies are just closing the door. Major companies, a lot of people are losing their jobs. So they having a lot of uncertainties. A lot of people are very afraid. A lot of people are getting ready to be very desperate. And also, we know that DJ Donald Trump is constantly setting up military presence throughout America. So why this man is doing that? Because this is not of his doing. This is the Lord's doing. The Lord is controlling the minds of these leaders around the world and bringing forth the destruction of America, aka Babylon the Great, the whore that sits on many waters. So the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. We're right upon judgment. That's why we constantly seeing these things happening left and right. So the lady's saying, like, you can't, it said on the video, wake up. So a lot of our people right now are still asleep. It's high time to wake out of sleep. A lot of people right now are relaxing in their leads. A lot of people thinking that they're a good case because, everything, they have a sense of normalcy because you're getting up, you still are watching TV, you still are going to work right now, still help your family together, but all hell is getting ready to break loose. The Lord already said this place is going to be totally destroyed. There will be no inhabitant left here. With those IBCM missiles, we already knowing that these nations. Also, she said another key point in that video about, she was talking about how China had this military parade, and America was not invited. So we're seeing that these nations right now are coming in alliance against the West and also NATO. But we know at some point that NATO is going to turn on America. So, they shall burn the whore. So we already knowing that particular time is coming, and the Lord is getting ready to bring forth this recompense and judgment. So we're seeing now that America is getting ready to reap what it has sown. So you're seeing right now that these nations, they're constantly leaving America alone, which in fact, they're leaving the dollar alone. The BRIC nations, they're on the rise. They don't want to have anything to do with America, nothing to do with America anymore. We already know that America was a major influence around the world, but now these nations now saying we are strong. We are going to do this and that. So they're coming into alliance to become the next superpower, and take America out. So that's what a point that we at. But the Lord is moving the chess pieces around. The Lord is visiting the earth that He created. That's why we got to be watching. We got to be praying. You know what I'm saying? Have a locked in. And also redeeming the time because the days are evil. So as we go forward, we're seeing that her judgment had reaches into the sky. So the Lord is getting ready to come out of His place. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. Also, we know about that three-eyed atlas. They keep talking about this pretty much every day. Whether it may be a false and alien invasion, but it's no matter what he tried to do, he cannot stop what is getting ready to happen. Total destruction of America, Babylon the Great. There will be no inhabitant left here. This will be the second death, which in fact is the lake of fire. And how would this place become a lake of fire with those IBCM missiles? You know what I'm saying? These warheads that's going to hit America. These nations is going to unleash all their arsenal on America, but it's going to be through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. So we already knowing that this lady is very concerned. And also when you go to Joel chapter 2, he says the Lord shall pour out His spirit on all flesh. So that's exactly what's happening. So this lady pretty much was warning you, she was prophesying, letting you know that, hey, this is happening, And one thing about it that, We are so very close. And a lot of people right now still thinking that they're going to have a sense of normalcy. It's nothing going back the same. We are in judgment. Jacob trouble is out the door, the hour of temptation. And also that grain of rice shall go into your right hand or in your foot. This is where we at. So now let's go and start today's lesson. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. Quick, let's do the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Let's start here. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6 said, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Said, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense, or the Lord is getting ready to repay. And how do we flee out of the midst of Babylon or America, out of this mindset? What? Spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Out about, this gospel, this wisdom, this knowledge. Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of the time, your faith, what I'm saying? Also, the Lord will be a stronghold in that time of trouble. So we're going to constantly trust and believe in Yahweh. Verse 7 said, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. Said the nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. So right now, we know that Babylon has been that golden cup, the number one superpower. But now we're seeing that America is slowly on the downfall. We're seeing the fall of America with our own eyes. And also we're seeing right now that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine. Talking about these philosophy, talking about the policy, her democracy. We already know that America is a major influence. It's around the world. Everyone wants to come to America. Everyone want to do whatever they want to do, that do thy will spirit. But now we see that now these nations are getting ready to get the hell out of here. Verse 18 said, Babylon has suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed, but she will not be healed. Verse 9, it said, we would have healed Babylon. She is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one unto his own country. So for her judgment reaches unto the heavens and is lifted up even to the sky. So right now, it's her judgment is very great. It don't reach into the sky, up into the heavenly realm. And the Lord's getting ready to come out of his place and judge his place. So we seeing a lot of these different people that was in this country. They're leaving America. Even movie stars are leaving America. I think Hollywood just packing up and going over in the UK and different parts of the world. So we seeing this left and right. They seeing right now that the mirth is gone. But see, the Lord is causing this thing to happen. The vibration is changing. Also, the writing is on the wall. They getting the hell out of here. Let's drop down to verse 12. It says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Said, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For the Lord has both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitant of Babylon. So right now, the Lord is setting up the watchmen. The Lord is preparing the ambush. So we already know that there's sleeper cells, is in major cities across America as we speak. And also we knowing right now, it's already rumors that the UN is here. You know what I'm saying? We knowing that at some point that NATO, China, Russia, in collaboration, they're going to be together, the king of the East, all these things we constantly warning about, it's going to come together. The Lord is causing these things to happen. As we go to Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1, you know what I'm saying? The Lord is causing these things to happen. The Lord is controlling the minds of these leaders around the world. So the Lord is moving the chess pieces around and advising these things to happen, one thing behind another. So we seeing right now that America is slowly is getting ready to go out of business, but it's coming from who? Yahweh, Ba'ashim Abishai. So the Lord's getting ready to get rid of this nightmare. Verse 13 says, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant with treasures, thy end is come, and the measure of thy covenant is very close. The Lord is getting ready to take it off the map. Verse 14 said the Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. So this right here, we already know what happened with the ex-president. What's his name was Biden. He had like an open door policy when it came to the border. Just letting people just flood in here. And all of a sudden now we seeing that DJ Donald Trump trying to we getting them out of here. Illegal alien. They causing these crimes and stuff. They got these ICE patrol, but we already knowing that. What I'm saying, they are both are the part. They are two wings of the same bird, which in fact is the eagle. You know what I'm saying? The revised Roman Empire. We're not ignorant of what Satan devices. So we seeing right now that this place is full of what young age military, young military age men. And also it was already rumored. Some of them was they saying that they had UN badges and had all sorts of what they call these debit cords and stuff. So, they're just waiting on the green light so they bring forth all sorts of chaos. This place is going to be totally destroyed. Let's read this once again in NLT. It said, Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 14 said, the Lord of heaven's armies has taken this vow and has sworn to it by his own name. So your cities will be filled with the enemy, like swarming with locusts, and they will shout in triumph over you. So that's what we're seeing right now. This place is going to be overrun with the enemy. The UN, with the UN and NATO troops, they coming in here. What I'm saying? These Gurgle troops, these super soldiers. This thing is getting ready to get real. We already seeing what's going on in Chicago, these major cities. They constantly, slowly putting their plan into place. What is that plan? The NWO. So now let's go here to Revelation chapter 15. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 17. Let's get a little bit more about this. The Lord's going to bring forth this judgment. So let's start up at the top. It says here, you see what it says in Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1. It said the doom of Babylon. So let's read some of this here. It said the great prostitute, which in fact is America. It says in verse 1, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, so I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters. It's talking about what? America. What I'm saying? Babylon the Great. That's that whore that all the nation that would have drunken of her wine. Verse 2 said, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Here we go. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Just like I told these policy, they all what was corrupt by her wine, by these policy, by her philosophy, democracy, this do thy will spirit, man, we're here, man. This thing's right here, man. It's right before our eyes. So this Bible is spot on, it is spot on. So we see it right here. Let's go to verse 3. Also so what? Sexual immorality, also, Antichrist spirit, so they are mental Antichrist. It's a lot of different things going on, but this place is corrupt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got corrupted by her philosophies. So you would put it like this. So now, verse 3 said, so he carried me away in the spirit unto the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having the 7 heads and 10 horns. 7 heads and 10 horns represent NATO and the EU. It says right here, it said that scarlet colored beast is talking about America. It says scarlet is the color of red, red, orange color, pretty much red. Also, that orange and also with that purple, what I'm saying? So, that, making her look like she's very abundant. She's rich in her treasury. This place right here, people come here and try to be successful, So right here, this whore right here, and a lot of people, blasphemy. This place right here is totally against the Lord's will. All sorts of abomination, all sorts of things that is displeasing to Yahweh, Baal Shem Abishai. Verse 4 said, and the woman was arrayed in purple and that scarlet, purple and red. That scarlet is red color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a great cup in her hand full of abomination and filthiness, said, of her fornication, all this sexual immorality. But, so this place right here, a lot of people, they get kind of like wooed by America. America is very rich, look very successful. You can come here, you can be a movie star, you can be a transformer, you can be whatever the hell you think you want to be, in this place, but one thing about it, we already knowing that this goes against the Lord's his laws. It go against the what I'm saying, everything. This place is the land of confusion. This place right here is upside down. The Lord is going to return and set that natural order back into place. This place is filthy. All sorts of sexual immorality. All sorts of people are lovers of themselves. The love of many is waxing cold and cold. Evil is at a high. Wickedness is great. All this here, man. We see it here, verse 5. It said, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. So that's right there, summing it all up. This is America. This place is the most wicked kingdom that ever was erected. It's worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. It's worse than Egypt. This place is a toilet bowl of full of all sorts of abomination. This place is messed up, and obscenities. All sorts of things. So right here, they're just describing you that the Lord is going to destroy this place. So let's drop down here to verse. Let's see here. I think we'll start at verse 15. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. It said, and he said unto me, said, the waters which thou sawest were the whore cities are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So right here, we already know that America is the melting pot, so a lot of different nationalities of people here. And also we already know he loved to put people under one banner, talking about this new world order, bullshit, they're coming up on this new way of doing things. We'll put it like that because we got to be careful what we say. So we see it right here. Let's read that once again. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. And he said unto me, said, the waters which thou sawest were the whore cities, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Exactly right. So America is the melting pot. Verse 16, people come here, we're seeing right now that now that this place is so full of so many people around the world that we already know at some point that the Lord is going to totally wipe this place out. So we're in that time period now where the Lord is going to judge this place. That's why I named the title of the day, Let Judgment Reaches unto the Sky. Verse 16 said, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast said, these shall hate the whore America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So this is talking about NATO and the EU. At some point, they're going to be in collaboration with Russia and China and many other nations around the world. They're going to come up against America and burn her with this fire, with that IBCM missiles, and also that laser and chariot fire from Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh. Verse 17 said, for the Almighty has put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give her kingdom unto the beast, which in fact is the revised Roman Empire, until the words of the Almighty shall be fulfilled. So that's where we at right now. So Lord's get ready to judge this place. So we might well get Revelation chapter 18 and close out. We get that right quick, we'll close out. So America is getting ready to reap what it has sown. So we coming upon that time. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 18. We'll close out here. We'll start up at verse 4. It says in Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plague. So once again, you got to come out of this place spiritually, that gospel, the wisdom and knowledge that shall sustain you in times of trouble. The Lord shall be a strong tower in that time of trouble. You know what I'm saying? That's what we constantly trust and believing in him. Verse 15 said, for her sins have reached unto the heavens. So, and God has remembered her iniquity. So the Lord right now is visiting the world that he created. He's remembering, her iniquity. He had not forgot. So what was done to us is getting ready to be done to them. It is payday. We're in that transition of power. You know what I'm saying? One thing, but the one that was last is getting ready to be first. And the one that was first is getting ready to be last, man. And the Lord's doing a mighty work. Verse 6, it said, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she has filled to her double. So one thing about it, America is going to get a double portion. What was done to us get ready to be done to her. This place has spoiled many nations. Since how has spoiled many nations, you also shall be spoiled. So right now, this place is getting ready to be spoiled. This place is getting ready to be a total wasteland. This place is getting ready to be a war zone. Also, there would be no inhabitant left here. When those missiles hit, this place will be a lake of fire. The only way out of here is up. So let's go here and start back up. So the Lord is remembering her. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is getting ready to come out of his place and do the thing. The Lord is getting ready to set that righteous order back upon this earth. Once again, the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 7. It says, how much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she says in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. So, we already know this place is very proud, very arrogant. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord's going to bring it very low, because, you have walked in great pride, great misery will befall upon you. So this place right here, a lot of people done live deliciously off the delicacy of the whore, but these things has come into an end. Right now we seeing that America is falling apart. Verse 8, it said, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judges her. Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. So what will cause this to happen in one day? Death and mourning and famine. So we get that in a minute. We want to jump the gun. So we already know what would cause that. Verse 9, it said, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So a lot of people they're gonna be mourning because this is it. They can't come here and get successful anymore. Can't come here and get rich anymore, or do thy will spirit. Do all sorts of abomination. All that is coming to a close. Verse 10 says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, at last, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So in 1 hour, those IBCM missiles are going to fly, and they're not going to miss their mark, because the Lord is going to be guiding them spiritually. That's going to be a great day of the Lord. And one thing about it, we already know that death is coming. Mourning is coming. We're here. It is at the door. We're seeing it right now. We know that the time is coming where we're going to have a thermonuclear exchange, but we know that the implementation of that grain of rice is right around the corner. These things are moving very fast. So we seeing right now, it's high time to wake up. In that video, she had on that wake up. So that's why, I did that video. It's time to get concerned. It's time, things are getting ready to get very serious. Things are getting ready to get very perilous, a time of trouble that we've never seen before. The days are evil. These evils are growing all around us, and these Bible prophecies are speaking loud and clear. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is her judgment reaches unto the sky. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.